Nobody likes keeping track of a wallet full of credit cards with complicated rewards categories. And BECU members like Heather don't have to.
With this card, I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about it. I just use it and pay it. It's pretty simple.
Keep things simple with the Cashback Visa from BECU. No more confusing categories, no more blackout dates. Just 1.5% cash back on every purchase. BECU. Power in people. Member compensated for participation. Cash advances and cash-like transactions do not qualify as purchases. Contact BECU at 800-233-2328 for current product and rate information.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
Hello, here we go. Welcome to Season 17, episode number 3701. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. Montgomery! And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This. Plus headlines, the Men's Room shot of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorites. TV Time with Ted. Clack, clack. Drink it again. All right, here we go. Believe it or not, a miniature doghouse in Japan hits the market for only $150,000 each. Meanwhile, 3 are hospitalized after a plane catches fire on the runway at Miami Beach. New York woman walks outside to find a 9-foot snake on her lawn. In Ohio, the smell of bubbling cheese lingered until the early hours of dawn. And a Tesla in Sacramento won't stop catching on fire. Even in death, it catches on fire. They put it out, it catches back on fire. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, the Kitt Peak National Observatory in Arizona. It's home to more than 20 optical telescopes, 2 radio telescopes, making it one of the largest gatherings of astronomical instruments in the Northern Hemisphere. But all that is in jeopardy as a result of a massive wildfire ignited by a lightning strike. Now, science geeks like myself, well, we wish you could, arrest Mother Nature for starting the fire, but we can't. You can, however, arrest people for starting wildfires. Just ask Matthew Reiser. He was arrested for starting a different wildfire in Arizona. Now, he didn't do it on purpose. It just happened as a result of him, burning his toilet paper after he wiped his ass. But look, fires happen. As Miles just said, a passenger plane landing in Miami, it burst into flames while landing. Now, miraculously, no one was seriously injured, but the passengers probably could have used some of that toilet paper that the dude in Arizona was burning. And in New Hampshire, 3 people and 2 dogs, well, they jumped overboard when the yacht they were on caught on fire. It should also be noted they lived on the yacht, so they lost all of their belongings. And that's pretty scary, but that's less scary than the Canadian man whose Tesla caught on fire. Well, he was in it. And it's only scary because the doors wouldn't open and the windows wouldn't go down. So he actually had to break out a window and get the hell out of the car. But he should know that bursting into flames is just something that Teslas do. In Sacramento, a Tesla that had been in the scrapyard for 3 weeks after a collision, burst into flames. And then he put it out. And then it kept reigniting. So today, we're turning up the heat. We're talking about fire. Look, man, let's be honest. We've all started a fire, some worse than others. But that's what today's question is. Who started the fire and how bad was it? Be part of the big show. Call 206-421-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
Nobody likes keeping track of a wallet full of credit cards with complicated rewards categories. And BECU members like Heather don't have to.
With this card, I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about it. I just use it and pay it. It's pretty simple.
Keep things simple with the Cashback Visa from BECU. No more confusing categories, no more blackout dates. Just 1.5% cash back on every purchase. BECU. Power in people. Member compensated for participation. Cash advances and cash-like transactions do not qualify as purchases. Contact BECU at 800-233-2328 for current product and rate information.
To the men's room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Oh, but tell us, away we go. Welcome to season 17, episode number 3701. The Large and in Charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat on this lovely Wednesday. Where did the summer go? Here for one day. One day. It'll be back. It's coming. Weekend is coming. We're going to get some sunshine. Trust me. Big show today. Who sucks less, Steve? Every week, I don't know how you do it. You find 3 stories in the news of people doing just not nice stuff. Yeah. I know you dig pretty hard. Takes you a while to find these things.
These people aren't the worst. It's just unnecessary, right?
So they lost their minds? They snapped?
One of them I don't believe had a mind to lose. They just come off as very stupid. One of them is very angry. No one knows why.
Okay.
And the other involves a group of some young folks taking advantage of an opportunity. That would be the best way of putting it.
Who Sucks Less is coming up, as we do every Monday through Friday as well. More Men's Room, exclusively on the Odyssey app. We'll bring you the Men's Room Happy Hour, and the return of the effing news is coming up today. If you do not have the Odyssey app, download it now. It's absolutely free. And then from there, search for the Men's Room Happy Hour channel. We'll go live on that channel at 6 o'clock. If you check it out now, there's not going to be any audio on there. So it's really only active when we are on the air at 6 o'clock on the Odyssey app. If you don't have it, download it. It's absolutely free, and then search for that. You can also favorite it, and it'll pop up for you at 6 o'clock. But today, the return of the effing news. And we're going to talk about fire today. Fire! On our question, who started the fire and how bad was it? And one thing that inevitably will happen, you don't want it to happen, but fires happen in the form of transportation.
Yes.
Now, I want to say that within the past week, we have had a major story of an airplane catching on fire. And we'll start in Miami. A flight from the Dominican Republic landed at Miami International Airport Tuesday night, then caught fire. After Red Air Flight 203 from Santo Domingo landed around 5:30 in the afternoon, the landing gear in the nose of the aircraft collapsed.
Great.
That appears to be what started the blaze. The fire was quickly put out, and of the 126 passengers, 3 were taken to local hospitals with minor injuries. And they're, of course, investigating the incident. They said the Red Air is a new discount airline from the Dominican Republic. The plane skidded after the landing gear malfunctioned, hitting several things, including a crane tower, before coming to a stop in a grassy area off the runway. When our fire crews arrived, they saw the wing of the aircraft was on fire and quickly began working on putting out the fire utilizing specialized foam trucks.
Yeah, foam trucks.
Yes, all passengers were off the aircraft. Video from the scene. People were very frightened.
I bet they were,
People were
man.
grabbing the seats to keep from spinning around. I thought I was going to die, one passenger said. But ultimately, no one was hurt badly. I think I want to die anytime I get on a discount airline like that. Apparently,
That's not a good way to launch your airline.
No, it's not.
We're a discount airline. We save money on our landing gear.
Talking about that the other day, Ted. The fact that whenever you say you see something, it says when you get on there, American Airlines. But when you get to the small airport, it says American Airline flight operated by.
Oh, yeah.
Someone you've never heard of.
Good Luck Air. Good luck we get there. Good Luck Air. Like, oh no, this is not going to be.
Feeling lucky, try our airline.
Exactly.
We've only got 2 rows and a lot of hope.
Right.
Most of our landing gear is operational.
So now we got the sky covered. Now we move on to the sea. A 70-foot yacht burned and sank in New Hampshire, sending 3 people to the hospital. The vessel, the Elusive, was on the Piscataqua River, heading toward a marina.
All right.
Piscataqua, I'm pretty sure.
That's what I would say. No guarantees you're right.
Piscataqua River. I bet you could go to the bathroom in that river. No one cared.
It's in the name.
Yeah. They were headed toward a marina in Newcastle around 4 o'clock this past weekend on Saturday when a passenger noticed black smoke below deck. According to the New Hampshire Department of Safety, the Coast Guard and the New Hampshire State Police Marine Patrol posted photos of the flames and the thick black smoke that was pouring from the vessel. 3 passengers, as well as 2 dogs, jumped overboard as the boat became engulfed in flames. They were rescued by other boats. I don't know what you know about the waters in that area at this time of the year,
But in the early parts of summer, this is when some of the great white sharks tend to start migrating a little bit more north from the southerly path. So basically,
Through the river, though?
not through the river, but on the outskirts of Massachusetts.
Yeah, I was going to say, like Jersey, Massachusetts.
Cape Cod's had a bunch of them.
Yeah, so jumping in the water
Bougie
there.
ass sharks.
Hey, this is not fun.
Cape Cod did a great job of reviving the seal population.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the great whites showed up and were like, oh, look, dinner.
Well, it's like a buffet.
That's basically what happens. As it warms up, the seals leave the warmer water, start heading a little bit more north, and going where they can do the thing. Well, the passengers identified as Arthur Watson and Diane Watson, they appear to be married, both of Connecticut, and Jared Tubbs. Jared's of Jupiter, Florida. They were taken to the hospital, treated, and released. The dogs are okay, too. But officials say the passengers, they actually lived on the boat. So all of their belongings were destroyed. And even more so, despite efforts to save the yacht, it drifted into Maine waters and eventually sank about 2 hours after the 911 initial call. So the boat was on fire for a couple of hours. Basically what they said was it burned down to the waterline. There's nothing left of that boat. So.
Well, they said it's the problem. We don't know what started the fire.
And they're not going to find that. Yeah, and that thing just went right down to the bottom.
And fire on a boat is just the worst.
Why do you say that?
Because that's the thing. You only have two options. You're either going to sink or die by the fire. Then it's also weird that you're on a boat surrounded by water.
Right, that can extinguish the fire. You're surrounded by it. And
you need water, and it's not working.
Right, it's of no use.
Right, and look, a lot of this is just from watching Deadliest Catch. But they'll talk about, water's getting in or the engine's not running. They get nervous. But if there's anything of a fire, they're like, that is the worst. That's the worst. You just don't want to fire.
Worst case scenario.
Well, for them especially, because Deadliest Catch, you're in rough waters off the coast of Alaska.
Yeah.
I mean, at least we're going to be on a burning boat. I hope I'm Gulf of Mexico, something like that.
I was going to say Lake Union.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
So it covered,
even better.
Yeah. Covered the airplanes.
Somebody will find me in Lake Union, I hope.
Covered the water situation. Now we go to land. A Tesla Model S has been sitting in a scrapyard for the last 3 weeks. It was involved in a collision, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it spontaneously burst into flames.
I'm out.
And kept reigniting, transforming into a, quote, heap of molten burned metal. The Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District described how the electric vehicle, which had been severely damaged in a crash, became a fireball in the wrecking yard at Rancho Cordova on June 11th. Crews knocked the fire down, but the car kept reigniting and off-gassing in the battery compartment. Even the firefighters gained access to the battery compartment. The vehicle would just keep reigniting due to the residual heat. Well, crews eventually dug a pit. They filled it with water, and then they submerged the portion of the car, including the battery. In all, it took 4,500 gallons of water to extinguish the blaze, which burned hotter than 3,000 degrees, or about as much water as needed to put out a typical building fire.
And this is a car.
One car.
Jesus Christ.
Wilburn said, that's the fire captain there, it could have easily required 20 or 30,000 gallons. Well above their initial estimate. If they were just continuing to hose it.
Right.
If they did not submerge it. So, I guess, the Tesla Model S guide for first responders notes 3,000 to 8,000 gallons of water should be applied directly to the lithium-ion battery. I'm glad they have that in the manual. Yeah. For the fire department. That's fantastic. Which will burn until all its energy is released. So it's just going to keep burning. And also warns, again, which they did anyway, not to submerge a vehicle to extinguish a battery fire.
Yeah, they were like, whatever, man.
They say it's unclear why the vehicle spontaneously caught on fire. Tesla guide notes a damaged high-voltage battery can create rapid heating of the battery cells. It adds a Model S that has been involved in a submersion, fire, or collision that has compromised the battery should be stored in an open area, at least 50 feet away from anything, due to risk of fire. But that doesn't explain why they said why a Tesla Model Y burst into flames after suddenly losing power in Vancouver, Canada last month, forcing the driver to kick out a window because he was locked in and he couldn't get out of the car.
Well, the thing is, they say, there's some way you could do it, but it's the instructions to open his door or lower the windows are too complicated. Meanwhile, his car's on fire.
And they say this is not a problem specific to Tesla's. Car makers, including GM, Audi, and Hyundai, have recalled electric vehicles over fire concerns. So our question, who started the fire and how bad was it? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Austin. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitch, hola.
Hola.
Oh, man. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
I'm glad Arson brought it out.
Basically, this was about 2 or 3 years ago. I had just gotten a new house with me and a couple friends, and I invited my little brother over and was like, well, let's go and spark a fire. So we go to the backyard, and I got the gallon of gasoline, and I've got it pouring. I go and spark it up, and, you know, maybe some drinking, maybe some smoking a pot was a little bit involved. And then before I realized it, I was dumping that whole thing of gasoline all over the backyard into the fire pit, and it came all the way back up the nozzle and basically exploded in my hand and got all of the entire backyard plus my back porch on fire.
And this was your new house?
Oh, yeah. This is the new crib that we just moved into like 2 months before that.
Did you rent this place or did you buy this place?
We were renting it, thank God.
No, yeah, thank God.
It's the fumes.
Right,
gasoline fumes catch on fire.
Why did you think you needed to put an incendiary device on this fire?
Well, you know, young, dumb, stupid, just trying to have a bunch of fun, show off for my little brother.
That's good times.
So,
I've seen people use diesel.
Right.
Because it's different burn temp or whatever, and I've seen that in a fire and not just explode. But if you use gasoline, like it's going to explode.
It always
explodes. Yeah.
So what is the response from your landlord when you say, "Hey man, I accidentally lit the back porch on fire"?
All he basically did was just like, well, can you fix it? And I was like, sure as hell, I got you.
And that was it.
All right.
Yeah, that was it. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts. I just told him I could fix it, told him I was sorry, and he was like, don't do it again.
So you were able to replace the boards that caught on fire?
Yeah, it was just it was 2 little 4x4s and then a little 2x2.
Oh, okay.
Little,
all right.
Yeah, it wasn't much, but the backyard was definitely singed for the entire summer.
You know, typically we'll get sun and it'll all burn out anyway by
It is amazing.
late August.
Like right now, my grass
September.
is green. I'm telling you, like 3 weeks,
It'll be yellow.
brown.
Yeah.
And crunchy.
I don't really think that I've ever used lighter fluid except for a charcoal barbecue. And that was just to get the coals lit.
Even when you're a kid, man, you go in your buddy's garage, there's always a lighter fluid, right? Because everyone had to grill. And inevitably, like during summer vacation, there's no parents around. We know it's flammable. We know we can light stuff on fire. We never had a big, massive fire. But I mean, like, I probably used lighter fluid more as a child than I ever have as an adult.
We didn't have, like, other than, like, your... certain people had barrels in their backyard to burn stuff.
Sure.
That's one thing. That was normally handled by your dad or whatever. But as far as us being kids, I think it was the Boy Scout element and the fact that we knew how easy it would be to start a fire. So you would either make sort of a pit with a shovel. That's why you have like a little half-full shovel. Also to take care of your backside business. And
fires and poop.
And you would go collect rocks to build that perimeter for that pit just to make sure that you can... I mean, it really didn't matter if something blew up and blew into a tree. It's going to catch fire
we
anyway.
would do that too. It didn't mean that it always ended.
But that's
you
how
went
we
in with the best of intentions, and it ended with you getting in trouble because you lit something on fire.
Understanding how to build the fire and start it, that was kind of like a Boy Scout thing. So you knew how to get kindling. Like you built this little teepee perfect. So typically it was just one match, and that was the whole idea. Like if you could get a one match, you're like, I'm the man.
Yeah.
So we never used anything like that. We never used any kind of... half the time we'd use flint.
We did all the
weird
time.
stuff. You know?
But with lighter fluid, you can do things like write your name in lighter fluid, right? And you and it would say like Steve for like 5 seconds. Like, that's cool. Do your name.
Yeah, and I think they were just being idiots trying to probably see how big they could get that fire.
Well, they found out.
Yeah.
Pretty
but I'm with you. Like the other thing I remember is being a kid, like lighter fluid seemed so cool when a grill was going. Mm-hmm. So like, let me add a little more. But if right. It sounds silly, but it seems so exciting.
It is, though. Even to this day.
You should put it on before you
should put it on before you should.
You're
absolutely right.
It's like the idiot that's standing 5 feet away from his gas grill outside, and he's already got the gas on. He's trying to flick a match. You put the match in first, then you turn on the gas.
But the fun of it, we understand that, but it's fun to squeeze the lighter fluid and just watch it get big for a second.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And
also, I like my hot dogs taste like lighter fluid.
You know, look, until something goes wrong, you're going to keep doing stuff. And I've told this before. As a teen, one of our favorite things to do is the blue flamer. Basically, you fart with the lighter and you shoot that little fireball, right?
but it should be a little itty-bitty fireball. And we would do this all the time. We're having band practice. There's 3 of us in the band. All 3 of us are doing the blue flamers. Because, again, we're teenagers. This is hilarious. So my buddy Tony, he's going to dial it up a bit, gets on his back, kicks his knees back to his ears. You got me? So his ass is just pointed to the ceiling, and he farts, and he hits this lighter, and it looked like KISS taking the stage. I mean, this flame, boom, right? This quick fireball shoots it out. He screams and runs away. And we don't see him for like 5, because we're dying of laughter. Comes back down. He's wearing my buddy's mom's underwear and shorts. And he holds up his underwear, man, and there is a hole burned straight through it. He couldn't sit down for like 2 weeks. It burned the inside of his butthole.
Yeah, that flame
I'm
came
not
back.
kidding.
I hate when that happens.
That is the last time I ever did a blue flame. It wasn't even me, but I'm like, I'm done.
Yep.
I'll never do it again.
Who started the fire and how bad was it? 206-421-ROCK.
Nobody likes keeping track of a wallet full of credit cards with complicated rewards categories. And BECU members like Heather don't have to.
With this card, I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about it. I just use it and pay it. It's pretty simple.
Keep things simple with the Cashback Visa from BECU. No more confusing categories, no more blackout dates. Just 1.5% cash back on every purchase. BECU. Power in people. Member compensated for participation. Cash advances and cash-like transactions do not qualify as purchases. Contact BECU at 800-233-2328 for current product and rate information.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Our question, who did start the fire? And how bad was it? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Alan. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Hola.
can.
Okay. All right. So, a little bit of a backstory. 1970s, back when you get good stuff for Christmas, like, you give a 10-year-old a hatchet.
Right.
So, I've gotten a hatchet for Christmas, and I'm out in the garage, dink-donking around, and I had accidentally somehow cut the cord off from my dad's drop light. And knowing that I'm going to be in the doghouse for this, I take the drop light and take it in and hide it in my bedroom so Dad can't find it, and I'm not going to get in trouble for it. So then, fast forward a while, and I see my mom fix an extension cord. And what she does is she just takes a knife, she bears the wires back, and tapes them together, everything copacetic. So me being in the 10-year-old state of mind, I go grab a knife, strip it back. Of course, tape is tape, to me. So I tape the stuff together with freezer tape and want to make sure it works fine. Plug it into the wall, and it caught my bedspread on fire, caught my bed on fire as it's frying. It looks like the little arcs. It's following back up toward the wall. My bed's burning. My mom comes running in, and I finally had to fess up to everything that I had done.
And what?
And
How bad was the damage by the time you got the fire out?
Well, the bed was. Do you guys remember those the bedspreads that were real fuzzy, tall fuzz?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it instantly caught the whole thing on fire. The whole bedspread on fire, burned right through that bedspread down into my bed, and because it was, it was arcing. We didn't have breakers back then.
Right.
You had you put in those round things. Can't remember what they're called right now. But when they burned out, you shoved the penny in there and screwed the thing back in so it wouldn't burn out again. So there was just the constant flow of energy because it was not the breaker. So it burned up my bed and burnt the wall and burnt my backside pretty good a little later, too.
Sure.
The 70s were a different time. Because, one, he's right. You might get a hatchet for Christmas at the age of 10, but everything for children was flammable.
Or dangerous.
I mean, it didn't matter, it didn't matter what your parents bought you. It was just understood that, like, bedspread, underoos. When underoos first came out, and this is true, so I got a pair of underoos probably about 10 years old. And it was Christmas. But anyway, the next day in the paper, they were saying, hey, stop taking pictures of your kids in underoos or take pictures of your kids outside, because people would take pictures and they would do it with a flash. And remember those old flashes you had to attach to the camera, and they'd shoot off sparks. And these sparks would hit these kids' underoos, and I mean, they went up in flames, man. So instead of recalling underoos, they were like, yeah, just back up.
Back up.
When to take the pictures, because they're super flammable. Our bad.
I got a 14-inch Rambo survival knife for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
You get
For
a bow.
Christmas. How old are you?
You get a bow and arrow. Probably 10, whenever that thing was popular. Every kid I knew had one with a compass on the bottom.
Had a compass, and you could unscrew it, right?
And it had a little saw on it where you could cut down a little tree. Or
it's
whatever.
a Bowie knife, right?
Pretty much.
Basically, yeah.
But you strapped it around your ankle when you went out, hiking in the woods for whatever reason, just in case you got lost. I don't know. Everybody knew where the hell they were going. Bows and arrows.
Yeah, but you have it. So you got to wear it as a kid.
Oh, of course.
Throwing stars, nunchucks.
Right. Your parents, here you go.
You name it. I mean, it was just insane. And then I don't know.
And the crazy thing is, like, the first thing they made illegal were lawn darts. Now, you can still buy your kid throwing stars.
Crossbows.
Right.
I've seen those.
But the lawn darts are the thing to
And
work
lawn darts are illegal.
And then when you're like 12, they went full weapon on you. You got a what they called a whitetail hunter, which was your kind of first compound bow. And then from there they had like a bear and all these just different types of bows. But you got a bow and arrow.
And the thing is, it's not like your parents really monitored you with it. They would just be like, be careful. That was the beginning and end of all of your instructions.
Boy, when you can pull back 40 pounds and buy you a dart. Right. Okay. 14, 15 years old, like, you're shaking like a... But you do it one time with his. Next thing you know, man, it's wrapped up into the tree next Christmas. Bizarre.
Our bow and arrows just have like stuck to windows.
Oh, the suction cup ones?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember getting those. My mom was cooler with that. My dad was like, come on, man.
Yep. Who started the fire and how bad was it? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Emily. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
So, me and my first boyfriend decided to go camping in the Wenatchee Forest. We go up a old logging road up near the top of this peak. And we're setting up tent. We get a little fire going so we can have some coals for, cooking on later. And we go into the tent for a little afternoon delight. Well, while we're in the tent, the wind picked up. And when we unzipped the tent to come out, the entire hillside was on fire.
Oh, no. Like, how many acres would you guess?
I think it was probably a good, 30, 40 feet by 50 feet going up this hillside towards the tree line.
So what do you do?
Well, we got all the water that we had with us, and we started pouring it on the fire, realized that we didn't have enough water. Luckily, we had two of those little short-handled shovels with us. Mm-hmm. So we start turning over the dirt, to smother out the flames. About halfway through that, I had to pee, so, I dropped pants and aimed
on fire
towards the fire and,
all right.
Had my own little mini fire hose going for a minute.
How far could you shoot the pee? Because, obviously, you don't, as a dude, we know the rough distance. You know what I mean? We do this all the time, but as a woman, and now you're trying to spray out a fire as best you can, how far away from the fire did you stand?
Well, it's not, a nice stream like you guys have, so, I got some good spread,
right. Good.
But, yeah, it helped a little. But, yeah, we did eventually get it all out. We ended up camping there the rest of the night to make sure nothing reignited.
I don't know if I could have slept very well, but...
I think at that point I would have just...
This was early afternoon when we got there, so...
How long did
we were there the whole day.
How long did it take you to put the fire out?
Oh, it felt like forever. Probably a good half hour.
Damn.
That's not too bad.
Little shovels, turning the dirt.
Shovels and pee, man.
All our water.
I'm just glad you got it out. That's,
Oh, yeah, me too. I probably would be in jail or huge fine or something.
Yeah.
Down the Wenatchee Forest.
Okay.
Yeah, they frown on
that'd be bad.
That would be a bad thing.
Who started the fire and how bad was it? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, John. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. Okay. Back home in Hawaii, we have these two tall buildings, about 17 floors. And then the trash used to be built up from the first floor to the 7th floor.
Damn.
So me and my friends, we used to gather in the middle of the two buildings and make teams. And then we raced to our respective building and we started a fire. And the winner was which one the fireman got to first.
How often did you guys do this?
Every time when the trash got built up.
So you said it was seven floors of trash?
Yeah, it's a project called KPT.
Huh. Okay. That's a hell of a lot of trash.
Yeah, so we usually get upset about it, so we just burn it down so the firemen come and they do something about it.
So were you more doing it to like send the message of, hey, we need our trash picked up, or what?
No, it was all fun and games.
All right.
Jesus.
That is the stuff you do when you're young, man.
I hope nobody was living there.
Hopefully. 7 floors of trash.
God damn. Who started the fire? How bad was it? 206-421-ROCK. You think you can find a better use for real estate in Hawaii?
You would think, right? Hello, Garrett. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So it was, I think I was about junior in high school at the time. Just like everybody else, I was a pyro. And I used to make bombs, take apart fireworks, put them together. And I had the bright idea, probably because I was stoned, to blow up the porta potty up the street from my house at the local elementary school. Gathered up probably a good gallon of gasoline, got 2 bed sheets, a stack of newspapers, about 100 yards of 4-foot wide construction paper. Put it all in a backpack, went up to school, shoved it all in there, and what I planned on doing was pouring all this gasoline into a bottle, plugging the bottle with a cloth, and then using a Molotov to start the fire. Well, I forgot my screwdriver, so I couldn't shove the cloth down in there, so I just dumped it all in there, all the gasoline, got everything situated, and just lit it ablaze. And I'll tell you what, I've ran from cops before, but not that many that fast.
As far as how quickly they showed up?
Oh, yeah.
That's because it was a school.
How big was the explosion?
I'll tell you what, I was standing with the door open, and by the time I could even turn around to start running, it had engulfed me for a split second, and that was off.
Jesus, man.
Okay. Did you get caught?
No. Luckily, I've never been caught while running from the police, but there were at least 3 or 4 cops. I heard the sirens by the time I hit the back fence of the school.
Okay.
All right.
I'll make it a habit.
Yeah, exactly. These days are in the rearview mirror, correct?
Yeah, they got to be.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, what was the last time you ran from cops? On foot. I don't mean like, oh man, I blew by a cop in the car. But like as a teenager, that was the guaranteed response.
Maybe underage drinking, so 17 years old at a party. And when they showed up, just took off.
Yeah, I'm with you. And you're exactly right. You're right. Outside of high school.
I might have been 19, maybe.
Yeah, outside of like high school age, right? Like,
I don't know. It's just stand there and talk to them.
It's just funny because when you're younger, like whatever trouble you got, I mean, look, if you did murder someone, like 9 times out of 10, if the cops show up and you're under the age of 18, you're just doing something stupid, right? Yeah. Underage drink. But you will run from the cops. Now that I'm a full-fledged adult, might face a felony. You're like, I'm not running.
I would say run. I guess the last time was, 16 or 17 years ago. Right? At a sporting event, somebody got in a fight.
All right.
And then, like, security showed up, and we could see cops walking over, and we were like, we should just walk away.
Yeah.
Did you walk away or run away?
There were stairs, so couldn't really run.
Anymore.
But that was also, again, like I'm saying, like that's like 05, 06. I'd imagine by now, security, the cameras and stuff at stadiums are probably even more.
I don't think I've run from cops since we've been in Seattle.
No.
I'm almost proud of you, Ted.
Friday night.
That's what I'm saying. It was just like, what do we do now? Like, glad our guy won the fight. We should go.
Right. Friday night, I'm leaving dinner, and I walked out, and I had a joint on me, so, like anything else. But I'm not carrying a lighter anymore because I'm not smoking cigarettes.
Right.
So I got the joint on me. I just don't have a light. So there's this guy by his car, and he's just standing there smoking a cigarette. I was like, hey, sir, can I get a light? And he's like, yeah, no problem, man. So gives me a light, and he sees me fire up a joint. He's like, yeah, man, I'll take a hit. So he takes a hit. I start walking. I'm probably now about a half block down the street. And I'm like, what? Cop rolls down the window. I leaned over into the cop like this. I'm like, yeah.
So you're like,
and he's like, you get in a car someplace, like, yeah, walking to the hotel. He's like, where are you staying? I'm like, right there. You want to give me a ride? He's like, no, you can walk that far, buddy. I was like, I know. What do you need? He's like, I just want to make sure you weren't getting in a car. I was like, nope, going to the hotel.
Where was this at?
You know.
Yeah, down the road there.
Oh yeah, they got there's always 9 of them. The one town in the entire state of Washington where there's more badasses that could kill anybody in the world in one little town, military town. Like, you don't need cops running like that.
Right.
I mean, trust me, everybody can handle their own business down there. So, but anyway,
I mean, yeah, just in this state, I wouldn't give 2 thoughts about walking off the street smoking.
I wouldn't either.
No,
but you got to. Yeah, this is a little bit of hey man, kind of.
I remember before weed was legal, certainly in the state of Maryland, man. I just gotten home, horrible day at the restaurant. It's 2 a.m. I'm tired. My body hurts, but I got to walk the dog, right? I'm just like, God damn it, man. So, got this apartment. Now, keep in mind, where I live is 2 doors away from the corner. I walk to my apartment. There is nobody on the street. I get my dog. This all takes 90 seconds. I light a joint because I'm finally home. And as soon as I grab my dog and I step out the door, there are 4 cops on bikes. I mean, just parked right there. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. And there's no way I can hide it. I mean, I'm walking out the door, taking a drag of the joint. 4 cops are just talking to each other. They all turn around and look at me. I'm looking at them. I'm just like, guys, look, man. And I'm still wearing my chef's clothes, which helped. I said, man, I just got home from work. I was like, dude, you know that's illegal. I said, I know that it's illegal. I said, you're going to smoke it in front of cops? I said, no, you weren't here a minute ago, ma'am. I said, I'm walking. I opened my door. You guys are right here. So they're like, just put it out. I said, fine, man. But they waited there. So as I walked around the block with the dog, let him do his business, they just wanted to make sure I wasn't still smoking it. Came back. They were cool to have a nice night. And the one guy's like, I know you're going to light it up when you get back to your apartment. I'm like, goddamn right I am.
Yes. Wait, do you think I have this for no reason?
Yeah. I mean, but I just could not believe it. I'm about to go to jail. God damn it.
Well, in some places, too, where it's decriminalized, my buddy, he was walking somewhere, and I guess he had a bowl on him or something.
Yeah.
So the cop stops him, and he's, for jaywalking, something minor. But he's like, I could smell marijuana on you. And he's like, yeah, I have weed on me. And I guess it had just gone into effect, that it had been decriminalized.
Right.
He said the cop was just like, all right.
Oh,
let me see it. It's a small amount. Yep, that's personal use. I gotta let you go.
It's danky. But I don't like it.
Right. You can just see,
I'm still angry.
It burned him. Plus also, Washington State, I feel like cops are pretty used to being illegal.
Yeah, sure.
States where it's only medical or decriminalized, it's not their fault. They're just used to busting people with it.
What about all the drug sniffing dogs, right? Do you have to untrain them to stop freaking out about weed?
I think they can.
You can do that. Hey, you're going to smell this, but don't worry about it anymore.
Reprogram them?
You know what? I say that.
You've been trained to sniff this out, right? I'm a dog. This is what you have trained.
Probably going to go into retirement.
Me to do. Now I'm barking at everybody, and the cops are like, no, it's fine now.
I was like that beagle,
Well, you figure I'm not saying people going through the airport here would have it on them, but generally there's a lot of people in the state that smoke marijuana.
Absolutely.
So there's got to be some residue. So I would think if you had a drug dog at SeaTac going up and down the line, he would alert on, or he or she, the dog, would alert on a lot of people. And it might just be you have a crumb.
You ever have a dog bark at you because you got drugs on it? Man, I was at an ATM in downtown Baltimore. There was 3 people in line. So there's someone at the machine. I'm next to the line. And then a cop pulls up, but he just wants to go to the ATM, right? That's it. He has a dog in the back of his car. Now, I'm not looking. I don't realize the dog's there. And then this thing just started. So I turn around and I realize, all right, there's a canine unit, and it's looking out the window. It is staring at me, and it's just barking. And I have weed on me. I literally just bought some weed. So now it's like that scene in, what's the movie? Not Pulp. Reservoir Dogs.
It is Reservoir Dogs. Yeah, right? He's in the bathroom.
Yeah, man. So, I'm starting to sweat bullets, but I need to be cool. And then I don't want to do anything dumb, because if he opens the door and lets the dog out, that's going to be my ass. So I just keep my back to the dog, and he's barking. I get up to the ATM. I pull out my little bit of money. All right. As soon as I put the money in my wallet, the cop kind of gives me a look, because obviously this dog's barking at me. And the thing is, as I'm walking away from the ATM, the dog's view is just following me. And basically, this dog's just going, weed. It just sounds like rough. So the cop's kind of looking at me, and I realize when the cop puts his card in the ATM,
Now I know he's occupied. I took off running. I mean, full sprint. Hell yeah, man. Because I'm like, he's not going to leave his card in an ATM. It's Baltimore. I'm going to take your goddamn money, right? But I had to make sure he's going to do that. But again, I thought, I'm going to jail because this goddamn dog will not shut up. Row, 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 staring directly at me. I'm like, I know I have weed. You know I have weed. Can you shut up?
We were in the Denver airport one time, Mike, and this woman comes up and she stops us both, but she's like, I need to swab your hands to Steve first. She swabbed both of our hands, and she's asking him, she goes, I need to swab your hands. He's like, for what? She's like, for bomb stuff. He's like, oh, thank God, I thought it was drugs. Yeah.
I'm being that serious. I'm like, why?
She just started laughing.
I couldn't see her hands. I'm like, why? I need to swab. For what, man? She's like, I just need to swab. Finally, bomb making material. Thank sweet Jesus.
I thought it was
drugs.
She's like, come on now, sir.
I'm serious.
By the way, man, you can't say bomb in an airport. Yeah. Who started the fire and how bad was it? 206-421-ROCK.
The idea of owning a home felt like a pipe dream.
That's BECU member Leandra talking about her home buying experience.
So we went to BECU where I met our mortgage advisor, Lauren, and she was like, this is what we're going to do. This is how you buy a home.
As a not-for-profit credit union, BECU helps members find the right home loan to meet their needs. Learn more at becu.org/home loans. BECU, power in people. Equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS ID 4900518. Members were compensated for participation.